Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another Women of Horror Indie Spotlight. Today I have director, producer, and she does actually a little bit of acting as well. I have Libby McDormand. Libby, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Thanks for coming on. And you
Absolutely.
have two excellent movies streaming on Tubi right now. The first one is Dead Woman's Hollow, which I haven't had a chance to watch yet. And then you also have your newest movies, which is Darkness Waits, which I
Oh,
watched and I definitely enjoyed.
thank you.
So tell our viewers about, let's go into first Dead Woman's Hollow.
Sure. Well, Dead Woman's Hollow is a movie that was inspired by true events. We shot it here in South Central Pennsylvania. Very small cast, very small crew. Basically, it's me and my husband, and anybody who is probably part of the cast or special effects that would help us. Dead Woman's Hollow was my first it was my directorial debut. I've made a few movies with my husband. I have done acting. I actually went to school for theater. So acting was my first, I guess you could say, entertainment like passion or path. And I always wanted to work in the entertainment industry. So I kind of found and navigated my way into a group of friends, which is now my husband, but they were making movies. And this was way back in the MySpace days.
Wow.
Yeah,
Taking it back there.
absolutely. And I met my husband on MySpace actually, and we wanted to make something, and we were talking about it, and just that process of trying to make a project. We weren't even calling it a movie, but it was going to be documentary style. Like led us into a relationship, and then we made a movie in Indiana with our writer of Dead Woman's Hollow and Darkness Waits. And then we made another movie a couple years later. And me and my husband came out. We were living in Tennessee, and we came out to be closer to his family, to get closer to one person's family, because I was still really far away from mine, and he was really far away from his. So, life was pulling us back to the East Coast. And when we got here, one of my dreams was to try to direct. And they gave me an opportunity. John Taylor, who is one of his really good friends, and he's our writer, basically. He wrote the previous movies, and they gave me an opportunity and a beautiful script. Dead Woman's Hollow, based on or inspired by some true events that happened around here. It was one of the very first really scary things that happened when the writer had lived in this area. That's where he and my husband had met, like in the 90s. And then 1990s.
And what city in Pennsylvania?
We're in Waynesboro, in that area. Yep.
Well,
Basically
actually,
neighbor, because you're in Maryland. They're in
yeah.
Baltimore, yeah.
I don't know if you looked at my videos. I was literally in Waynesboro a month ago, and I did once in a while I do a burger review, and I did Wayne's Burger in
Okay.
Waynesboro. But I was there for a Comic Con, and the Comic Con canceled, but it didn't put up on the social media that it canceled, and so I just made a day of it there.
Well, good. At least you got something out of it. It is a cute, historic little town. Love it. We have a beautiful clock tower, which we featured in Darkness Waits. I don't know if you saw it. Did you recognize it maybe whenever you watched the movie?
Yes, I was like thinking to myself, I was like, is that Waynesboro? Because I mean, even when I did, there's a little coffee shop right next to a bookstore, like an old school bookstore.
Mm-hmm.
And I just took a whole day at Waynesboro. I was like, is that Waynesboro? That's why when you said Southern Pennsylvania, I was like, I think that's Waynesboro.
Yeah, we're right on the border here. So Maryland is basically 3 miles away. You can walk to the
Yeah.
border. Yeah, so
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But.
no, you're totally fine. So to get back to how we started with Dead Woman's Hollow, I got a beautiful script. Basically, anybody that I asked to be a part of it around here jumped at the chance. We met the actresses, Sarah Snyder at the time is now Sarah Smith, Mel Heflin, and we met those girls, and they are definitely like, I call them my kids, you know. I've definitely watched them grow up now, because that was 2010. And it took us 3 years to make that, basically to get that movie out on DVD. It took me a year and a half to shoot it, a year and a half in post, while you're trying to make a living, and still, you know, and weather shut us down sometimes, and just not coming up with the resources, not finding things kind of until the elements aligned. I would just have to stop and kind of like focus on something until we made it happen, until we figured it out. And it did take us 3 years to do that. And it was my first movie. John was in Indiana. I mean, he gave me the words, but you know, you don't always get what you want, or you don't always get the pages.
Yeah.
That were, you know, we did stick to it the best we could. And I think we did a fabulous job. And I had a feeling that if I was able to capture the words, get them on video somehow, we would be able to figure it out from there. And I do think we did. And then, and also filmmaking for me, and directing and finding my way through directing, it gave me something to live for. I had been struggling for a while, and this was my dream, and it was a lot of people's dreams around me. And it gave me just a way to live through it. And I love the story. I love the characters. And when we were all done, you know, those people are still around us. And I was thinking, I want to do something again.
Yep.
And we were talking to John, and it wasn't called Darkness Waits at first. It was called It's Happening Again. So we had this project in line, and it's happening again. And we marketed, you know, we did the whole thing with that.
Mhm.
And David Lynch came out with something around 2016. I think he started marketing for his, it was like his comeback. I can't think of, this is terrible. I love him.
You're fine.
IMDb right here. But his series that came out, he started marketing it with It's Happening Again. So we finally pivoted, and we came up with a title of Darkness Waits. And we started shooting in 2015. I didn't really wrap that movie until 2019. And I did show it in August of 2019, but I had this other idea of a scene, and I really wanted to capture that. So shortly after we showed it, I talked to some of the cast that I would need to capture this idea that just kept going through my head, and this thing that I thought we need it to help me tell the story. You know, it just feels like it's missing, and everybody was like, yeah, let's do it. So we did it. We all came back together in 2019 and shot another scene. So for that movie to even come together was unbelievable. Starting in 2015, and we shot tons of stuff in 2016, 2017, 2018, and then a final scene in 2019.
So to put two movies together, pretty much, I don't want to say sequels, but they're in the same universe. Yes, universe. And it was some time in between. What was something that from your first movie that you learned that you were like, oh, I'm going to do this differently, or oh, I'm not going to make that mistake? To the second one.
I would say the first thing that comes to mind was something that I really focused on for Darkness Waits was pace. A lot of feedback that I get with Dead Woman's Hollow is, you know, I've been told to re-edit it. I get some, I get some messages. But I made that movie for me too, and my story, and things that I wanted to see, some things that I wanted to feel and see, and the atmosphere of Dead Woman's Hollow, like our world has changed so much. The
Yes.
the landscape of this area, because I shot in the mountains, the trees are gone. 2 tornadoes have hit in the same exact place. One hit in 2018 or 19, and then the next one hit in like 2021. So those trees, that whole area, I mean, I couldn't really take you to hardly any place and be like, this is where we shot, and it will look like it.
Wow.
So I feel like I captured something. I captured a
Yeah.
time period and I knew then. They were telling me even way back in like 2010, because I'm like a naturalist too. I love plants, I love mushrooms, and I love hiking, and I love like seeing things grow, and actually walking and just scouting woods, and those areas is just my peace place. It's where I can go at any time, and it just, it just makes me whole. And I was seeing these beautiful, beautiful trees come down. It's the bugs are getting them, we have a new bug around here right now, the lanternfly, which is taking down trees like within a couple years. So I mean, like, yeah, so I'm just like, feel like we're seeing an extinction, basically, an extinction of old growth forests. That's sad.
That is sad.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I do feel like with my movies, I captured a little bit of that stuff before it was gone. I do also sneak in shots of mushrooms and stuff. So if anybody out there is you can watch my movies too.
One thing I love about Darkness Waits was two things. The villain in this movie, by the way, he's unique. Even the way he kills people and his look. By the way, is it the same actor in both movies? Or
Oh, no, it's not. We went in a different direction, but not necessarily. It wasn't always supposed to be like that. I did want to bring Boodle Montgomery back, and I did try. And we had in 2015, I always think I can get these things done in a lot smaller time period than what I do. My first movie, 3 years, thought I could do it in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, okay, and I started it with that in my mind that I could do it. So it took me a while to get through the depression of not hitting a goal and getting it done, and then realizing it was not only not going to be done like ASAP, it wasn't going to be done in like 6 months, and then probably not in a year. So I had to push through that kind of stuff. And then with Darkness Waits, I had Boodle set to come. He was my old Leroy, and he lives, oh my gosh, I had to go get him one time, and I think it was 6 hours round trip. So 3 hours there, 3 hours back. And I think it was the day before the shoot. No, it was the week before the shoot. He called me and said he took off the wrong week. I was like, no, it's not this week, it's next week. Oh my gosh. So we went into production, and I had a 10-day production schedule for this movie. And we actually stuck to that 10 days. It just took us 5 years and some change. But with the 10-day production schedule, I had most of my actors, except for I hadn't cast one. I just couldn't get it cast. And then, so we brought everybody together that we could, and we shot as much as we could. I can't believe how much we did get done in that time period, but I had to shoot without a killer at all. Jenny Janetti, who is one of my actresses in Darkness Waits, is definitely like she's definitely got a lot of stunt activity. She's done wrestling. So when she came in to that part that I finally got cast, she helped definitely like set those shots up. She was like, when you get a stand-in, you should be able to like, line this up. And we were, and it worked out so well. And I was able to cut in some entrances with her where she wasn't there in the beginning, but then she was there. I mean, we powered through, and we did as much as we possibly could in that amount of time that we had. And then we did have to come back here and there and pick some stuff up. And then I had to find the killer and then get the killer. And I did have Emily Whitcomb is my lead in this. And she did live around here. So we were able to get together a lot whenever we wanted to and shoot things, ideas, just come up with stuff and try it, things like that. So, yeah. I don't know if I can.
No, but the second thing I love about your movies too is the sound. It has, I mean, by the way, the opening song I had stuck in my head for a couple hours.
I love that.
And the sound, it is so, excuse my language, fucking eerie, because throughout the whole entire movie is, I mean, when nothing is even happening, it's just everyone's, if you got surround sound, it's like, what's happening? So it has you on your toes the whole entire time. So the sound guys did a great job.
I'll let my husband know that. We work really hard on like bringing together a beautiful picture, beautiful sound. But not only that, like that is something that influenced me as a very young child. I remember my mom turning on Halloween for us. She would let us watch Halloween no matter what time of the year. And she would turn that on so she could probably like get us sat down so she could get some work done. She loved the music. So that is something that I think sticks with me trying to make films is like, I always want there to be just a beautiful soundtrack, beautiful music, beautiful sound. My husband did go to school for audio like technician too. So he does have a sound background in that as well, as he's the cameraman. He's also my eyes. We haven't experienced any kind of playback yet, like where you have playback on set and you can watch things. So I often don't know what we get, but I trust him. Like, were you recording? And I trust you that you will capture the vision that will be beautiful. And he does a really great job. I love his eye for being able to capture things, just photography and video and everything. So, but back to sound, Kevin Yost on both of these movies is the music composer, and he's pretty well known in this area, and he might even be well known in Baltimore. He's pretty well known worldwide. He actually lives in Greece now, but when we made these movies, he lived around here. He grew up with my husband.
Oh, nice.
And wanted to be a part of it. And our first movie, Dead Woman's Hollow, when I watched it, he did the music on his own, and we just came over and watched it with the movie for the first time, and I cried, like, because he hit those moments, those points when I was trying to make a movie moment. He like amplified them to the point where it brought my emotion out, and I was like, oh, we did it. We did it. Thank you.
Because like you said, I'm a huge Halloween 1978 fan. And John Carpenter and his wife did a great job with the and then like, it's just certain things, it just makes it could be not even anything scary on the screen, but the music just had you on your toes and like, what's going on? Something about to happen. And that's most of horror. The scary part of horror is the psychological. It's the things you don't see.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about the movie. It was just the eeriness of the noises and the sound was amazing.
Yeah. And there was something beautiful in my mind that my mom could love that, because she was very conservative and, would pause or fast forward through scenes that she didn't want you to be exposed to, but she would let us watch Halloween like unsupervised. just because that music brought her such great joy, you know.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Now, this is the first time I've seen a woman director actually have nudity in a horror movie. Most women directors don't show breasts. So I was shocked to see
Wow.
that.
Uh, well, I mean,
Were
I
you
think
just keeping up with the '80s slasher, and you got to toss that in?
no, no, no. I don't toss anything in. Uh, I probably would have had more if if I had cast more people that would be open to that. But
Hmm.
I have a tremendous amount of respect for women, women's bodies, how you feel. The main thing I want you to be on my side is safe. If you don't feel safe, we're not shooting, we're not moving forward.
Yes.
Um, so, you know, there have been parts that I've cast out that I've asked, and if somebody's not comfortable, they're not comfortable, and I'm not pushing that at all. It definitely is, and I would love it to be part of the story too.
Hmm.
With Dead Woman's Hollow, there might be a little bit more than Darkness Waits because it's part of the story, and I needed it to tell the story. You
Hmm.
need to see this, and that's where I go with it. If it's not part of the story, I'm not just throwing it in. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
About I was
And
trying to say,
I
like,
want to make it
okay.
fun or beautiful as I possibly can too, and telling the story, or be creative as possible.
Yes.
You know, I think the female body is beautiful, so I
It
would
is.
love to capture. I love
Yes.
to capture so that's what we do. But my husband was really upset about like Darkness Waits in the beginning because we didn't get boobs in the beginning, and sometimes they say that and I remember us having that discussion one time. He was like, if we don't have boobs in like the first, 15 minutes, like it's like pointless or whatever. I'm like, I can't believe we're having this discussion right now.
What a horror movie, yeah. Now, as a filmmaker, to have apps out there, streaming apps like they're capturing indie horror movies like Tubi. Is that exciting? Is that a good thing?
Oh my gosh, yes. So grateful for Tubi. I'm so grateful for Film Hub. We've found Film Hub to be a great asset for us to be able to put our movies out, give us a platform to be seen. I don't have much of an audience base. I'm pretty much a hermit. We focus on our work, and I feel like that's all we do. We're trying to
Yeah.
keep it going and keep going to the next project. We don't always talk about things in public or we're not talking now until things are actually done. Um, but yeah, with Darkness Waits and Dead Woman's Hollow on Tubi, it's been life changing for us. And then we also are on like Apple TV, Amazon, Roku's wonderful. You could Google and just figure out if it's available on a free channel. I mean, there's tons of free channels that they are available on. Reveal is another one, REVEEL, and that's like got tons of independent movies. And we also just worked really hard on releasing a yoga video. And
Really?
my sister has been teaching yoga for, oh my gosh, I probably like 15 years.
Hmm.
Studying it and like teaching it hardcore since before the pandemic. And she was teaching online, and it's just always timing is always hard. And I'm like, we need to shoot this so I can do this whenever I need to, and other people can. So that's what we worked really hard at the beginning of the year. And then we got back to it, finishing it this summer, and as quick as we could, submitted to Film Hub, and they got us on that Reveal platform. We just got selected for Tubi on that, so we're really super excited on that. And basically how you get paid is with the ads. So that's what makes Tubi like set apart from a lot of the other free streaming services. But just having the platform, I think we're available in like 95 or plus countries. Just Film Hub has given us an unbelievable platform, and I am super grateful. And we just got selected to have Dead Woman's Hollow be re-released as a physical medium.
Oh wow.
Film Hub wants to put it out as a DVD. So like that's super exciting. Like
Yeah, that is.
basically a 10-year-old movie that's going to be going, to probably department stores again, or at least the ability to go through that whole process again. We did get distribution with Dead Woman's Hollow when I first finished it, but we were excited to get the rights back in 2019. We held on to it for a little while to kind of see how we felt about Film Hub, and we did give them our movie Darkness Waits after we tried to self distribute for about a year, and it just was not good for us. So we definitely need help in that area, having a platform, finding an audience, finding those channels that have audiences already set up, through their platforms. That's definitely where we need help. So I'm so grateful to be a part of that.
And I'm definitely a Tubi fan. Listen, I was a Tubi fan before Tubi was big, so I was doing Tubi Tuesdays reviews. But I'm a horror fan, and I do like indie horror movies. A lot of the big name horror movies, even like we're talking about Halloween, that was a indie horror movie. It was a low budget horror movie that got some steam, and now it's a monster. So there's a lot of gems on Tubi that fans, wouldn't, if it wasn't for Tubi, they would probably miss out on these movies. And there's a lot of hidden gems, like for instance, Darkness Waits. That, but also too, I am glad that also with the indie community, like the indie horror community is like a tight knit, and you guys definitely promote each other. You definitely embrace each other, and I love seeing that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're giving you a way to self-sustain a bit. So that's something that has definitely been different than the first go around with us.
So I don't know if you can answer this question or not, but is this the end of Leroy? Will we see Leroy again?
Well, what Leroy represents to me, I guess I could get into that just a little bit. I love for people to just have their own feelings, but hate is always going to be around. I think he is like my character, my vision of hate, because you'll see a little bit more of this if you visit Dead Woman's Hollow. So no, hate's not gone. Hate's around and always going to find another way and another avenue. And that's why I was okay with I embraced having another killer right away. And if I could, I guess if I could ever make Dead Woman's Hollow 3, I would love to bring them together. Like I would have loved to bring them together I called Darkness Waits Dead Woman's Hollow 2, but I didn't want to like title it that, because I want them to stand on their own. If you found Darkness Waits, then maybe that would lead you to Dead Woman's Hollow. If you found Dead Woman's Hollow, well, maybe that would lead you to Darkness Waits. I don't think you need to watch them in any particular order. The universe is the universe, and Dead Woman's Hollow is just as relevant today. I don't even think you're going to be able to notice that it's not 2023. Other than the trees are gone.
Now, because one thing I would like to see, so I'm probably one of the people who like this. I like to see origin stories or prequels on how, say, a Leroy became a Leroy.
Oh, intriguing. Yeah.
I would love to see where that mystery comes from. Where does that anger, that evil come from?
Yeah.
I would love to see the backstory.
Yeah. And it was inspired by a real person. So, yeah, there's a little bit of that. You'll hear a little bit of it in Dead Woman's Hollow, but yeah, to be able to see that picture
Mhm.
be horrifying,
Yeah.
to see where his hate came from,
Yes.
how he got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, Darkness Waits. It does have some graphic kills, like any horror movie.
Well, thank you.
Yes, I mean, there's definitely one with a tongue. You know, I'm leave it there. But when it comes to gore, huh?
We made that tongue. Thank you,
Yeah.
YouTube.
Okay.
Me and my husband made that. Well, we made like 20 tongues. Blood-filled tongues, regular tongues. You know, we were trying to get the texture and the dimples and all that stuff.
I was trying to figure out where he was going by doing that. Then at the end, I was like, "Oh, it makes sense now." Came back around why he did it, but
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about the way that John wrote for us in Dead Woman's Hollow and in Darkness Waits is you follow things that are happening, and you also are getting information. You're getting more pieces to the story. And I loved, being a part of being able to tell a story like that, for sure.
nowadays more gore is like a thing. You know, we're in the generation of Terrifier and Evil Dead Rises, where
Yeah.
blood and cutting. Do you think there's a such thing in horror movies as too much gore?
Well, there's people that really, really, that's the thing that they love. I think I am more like story or character driven. I've tried, to give it a go at that kind of stuff, but I've had a couple of stories, or kills basically that we had to do that I think they worked out well. I did have professionals help me too. Troy Smith, who was he went to school at the Tom Savini School.
Okay.
So he came on with Dead Woman's Hollow, and he actually ended up marrying Sarah Snyder, which is Sarah Smith now, and they
Wow.
have kids and everything. So yeah, they were just They were just getting together there at the beginning of our movie back in 2010. So it's been fun to watch them grow. But yeah, he made a lot of our effects for Dead Woman's Hollow, and then I tried to make a few here and there. I did a couple of wounds. I did the tongue. Let's see. I don't know. But it's not that I would go out of my way to like do that or show that unless it's part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my main thing because the effects are hard. They've always been hard. Mel's, which is Jen in the movie, her gunshot at the end, we only had basically one take for that. And then she was bloody and that's it, and so it's one and done no matter what. And, we got what we got, and I think it sells beautifully. I love the moment, but they're just really hard. We haven't been in a place yet where we've been able to like take care of anybody financially or anything. Dead Woman's Hollow was made with very little money, like less than probably $3,000, like maybe closer to two. Yeah, definitely. And that's over like 3 years, I was actually given $1,000 in the very beginning, and I thought I can do it. People, we can get together for a couple of weeks. We can get around, this can be done. And, it took longer and it took a little bit more, but, but everything, we got some costumes at a costume place or an actual uniform shop that was closing down, and it was like 90% off or more. So a lot of the uniform shirts, anything really professional that you see in our movie, it came up from that. Like just driving past a place that had a sign, and we were like, oh, let's go in, and all of a sudden there's shirts for like $1, and they're real police shirts.
Yeah, I was about to say there's some police shirts. Now, I have a question. The ambulances, how do you guys get that? Do you ask
Oh,
the whole?
that's a producer question. We have a friend, Dave Mackley. We have a friend that is, I call him a pillar of the community. He does a lot for our town. He does a lot for our whole county. So he knows a lot of people, and basically anytime we need something like that, he's been able to help us. He's helped us with a ton of locations. He's my husband's best friend.
That helps.
We utilize our resources, and it does feel like a bunch of friends, a bunch of people that have known each other forever, trying to make something. And it was us trying to make a dream even way back then, and we're still working on the same dreams and directions. So
Awesome. Yeah. Well, Libby, how can everyone find you?
Well, I mean, I'm on Facebook. You can find me. I'm on Instagram. I really love Instagram, showing pictures, making little reels, which feels like, a way to put out some light. I'm Libby on Instagram. I'm Libby McDermott on Facebook. I'm also a real estate agent, so you can find me. Like I'm licensed in Maryland and Pennsylvania, so I'm with eXp Realty. So we have over 85,000 agents that I'm basically in a company with. So I could help you basically anywhere and different places in the world as well. So.
By the way, if you live in Maryland, the real estate in Waynesboro is a lot less.
It's a little bit different than Maryland, that's for sure. Our taxes are a little bit higher, so you have to take that into consideration when you're living on the border here.
I was walking past, I saw it said rent for $500. I was like, shit. Like rent for something in I live in Baltimore. Goes for $1,500 or more. Baltimore is expensive.
Well, that's about where we're at around here right now. We are the Baltimore, DC area still. You can still find a few things, but you're gonna trade.
Yeah. Actually, listen, I'm gonna give it a plug to Waynesboro, Pennsylvania too. It is a cute little small town. Coffee shops, little restaurants. It's a nice little town. If you got time, if you live in the area, just go and visit. It's a great time up there.
Right outside of Gettysburg, so about 25 minutes or so from Gettysburg, and a lot of the same things that happened in Gettysburg came through here. So we do attract people looking for Civil War facts, or just to feel kind of the places where whole wagon trains came through. We were actually occupied here for, I think, 2 or 3 months before Gettysburg even happened. So the Confederates occupied our whole area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they actually took enough resources from this valley that helped them sustain the next 2 years of war. That's how many resources they were able to collect and take from us in this area. So we have a beautiful valley. And
you got a little small movie theater down there too.
Recently redone, and that is where I had Darkness Waits premiere. Yeah, I would love to show Dead Woman's Hollow there too. Yeah, nice theater.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Listen, Libby, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Everyone, please go on Tubi. Okay. Please go on Tubi and check out Dead Woman's Hollow. I got to check it out because I watched Darkness Waits and I was like, am I supposed to watch the other one first? But I'm going to check it out.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. And I would love to talk to you again about it sometime.
yes, yes. And by the way, you and your husband are working on a new project. So when that time comes around, I'd like to have you both back on.
Awesome. It sounds great. We'd love to be on.
Okay. But everyone, well, thank you for coming to the horror room. I am Travis Bruce. You take care. I'll see you next time.